say because my father watches these sermons, because I'm going to admit that my worst nightmare as a child has come true the older I get. And that is, part of me is turning into my father. And by that part, I mean that when I hop on my recliner to watch a show or listen or read, that very quickly do I feel my eyes starting to roll back into the head, the eyes go down, and it becomes peaceful slumber. Or, as my dad always said, he was just resting his eyes. But, you know, the way the world is right now, with the go, 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 with your, instantaneous messaging and phones and, Amazon Alexa, all of these things that are pulling our attention, it's no wonder why we have difficulty sometimes literally staying awake. I don't know about you, but at the end of the day, especially if I, have been listening or reading about the news, I just go, oh gosh, let's just go to sleep. Tomorrow will be a better day. Of course, if we find out tomorrow's not a better day, but hey. But it's important, though, so important, that Jesus tells his disciples to keep awake. Keep awake, because we never know when Christ will return. And do we want to be found when he returns sleeping? Not that there's anything wrong with sleeping. Or going about doing the work of Jesus, of being the hands and feet of Christ in this world. And Jesus could, and I keep praying, come any minute. He says only the Father knows the day and the hour. But we're to watch the signs. And people have been watching the signs for 2,000 years. Do you remember the one man who put, I believe, did he live in Staten Island or Jersey? Had to have been Jersey. Where he put the billboards up that the end of the world was going to be on such and such a day. And people sold their homes and gave him the money. But of course, I went to bed that night knowing I was going to wake up the next morning. And he just said, oh, he made a mistake. And he calculated it wrong. But people literally have been doing this for ages. The Seventh-day Adventist was actually started by somebody who predicted the date of Jesus' return. Because we do look at signs. There's earthquakes, right? I didn't feel the one the other day. I don't know if anybody else did.
I felt it.
Of course.
There's one. The volcanoes that are erupting. I mean, the ring of fire along the Pacific is just super hot right now, and you just know it's getting ready to just blow. And then, of course, we have wars. Wars everywhere. Wars in Myanmar. Wars in Africa. We have people that are starving throughout the world. millions and millions of children go to bed with food insecurity every night. That means they really don't know if they're going to have a meal the next day. Homelessness is on the rise, and it's tragic because this is now getting cold out there. I have on my desk, if you ever come in, a statue. It's a bench, a park bench, and it has a sleeping man wrapped up, and it actually is called Homeless Jesus. As a direct reminder to us that when we, out of our lives, help others, we are helping Jesus. Whether it be giving food, whether it be giving shelter, clothing, visiting the sick, praying for people in prison. All of these things, if we're about that, it's a little more easier to stay awake. Have you ever had to go to a meeting or a project or a volunteer thing, and say it's at night, and you had a long day, and you think to yourself, ugh, I don't want to go. But then when you go and when you come back, you often say, oh, I'm so glad I went. It was nice to be able to help others. In St. Jude, we've had a long tradition of helping others. You look at our annual Adopt a Family, which is next week. If during coffee hour next week, I hope you come, because one, we need wrappers. We wrap literally hundreds of presents. But two, it's just a joy seeing the smiles, knowing what the kids will be receiving on Christmas morning. We've always given generously to the pantries. Whenever there's been a special need, this church has always come up. But one of the things that we found lacking was something that we always wanted to do, but we're a little unsure about how to do it. And that was how to do hands-on compassionate outreach. And then, basically, God put in our hands our friends at St. Michael and All Angels for our mission center, whose goal is to reach the most vulnerable in our society, and that could not exist without the volunteerism, the time, the talents, the treasures that people give for that ministry. And it has changed the lives of so many. One person's life who has changed is Patty Dow. Patty, yes. Would you come forward? Mother Maxine assured me she talked to you.
Yes. I didn't expect it this quick.
But Patty's one of our volunteers, and she would just like to say a couple things about what compassionate outreach at the center means for her.
Okay. I was actually told I should, by Mother Maxine, start with how I became involved, why I continue to be involved, and how other people might want to be involved. So we'll start with how, which was I don't come to church very often, but my mother and my brother do. This is their church. So I come with Mom on Easter, her birthday, Mother's Day, etc. My husband passed away in March. I'm here in Easter with Mom, and it's a hard time for me, of course. And one of the things that Father Christopher was speaking about, or Mother Maxine, one of you, was this family the Mother and Child Ministry at St. Michael and All Saints. Now, I live an hour away, I work an hour away, I work full-time, my husband just passed away. Do I really want to devote my time and energy to something that's not around the corner, is going to take time during a time of grief for me? What it did was open up a whole new world for me with all of you people in church, as well as with the people we help. And when I went to Erica at coffee hour that very first day and said, listen, I can't devote a lot of time. I may not get here till 6:30 at night. Sometimes I'm busy on Sundays. And she said, whatever you can do would be appreciated. Then there was a course that I had to take. I'm thinking, oh God, now I have to do this. It was actually very simple. First day I go, I don't know a single person there. Nobody. Literally nobody. I walk in, they're packed. Barbara, who runs it, I don't know if she's here today, is one of the women with Marisol and Erica who run the Mission Center. And I go downstairs, don't know what I'm doing, don't know a single person. They're packed. I didn't take the course yet. Go upstairs. And you can greet people. Nobody came in because they were already downstairs. The next week I go back again, my next scheduled appointment. I get my t-shirt, which is great because now I don't have to wear my own clothes. Because you do get, you don't get dirty, but you get sweaty, especially in the summertime. And I started with stocking. From there, I went on to serving the people who come in, and now they even let me do intake, which is quite challenging because many of them are non-English speaking. But they come and they're thankful. They come with their children who do speak English and who can translate and who get very upset if you get their ages wrong, especially when they don't need picture books anymore. That was one guy, one kid. Then there's a girl who came in and clearly looked like she was part of a gang and, like this, just standing there, staring everybody down. And I'm helping, I don't know if it was a mother, her sister, her aunt, whoever, and this woman had no English at all. So I'm trying to communicate with our little cheat sheets, which was doing me no good. She's pointing to certain things, but then she kept saying a word and I didn't know what it was. So this girl finally saunters on over and explains what this other woman, who is her relative, is asking for. I think it was diapers or something, which was on the cheat sheet, but maybe she didn't see them, maybe she didn't have her glasses on, I don't know. Next thing you know, this girl is smiling, joking, laughing, and we see them over and over, and they're thankful. The grandma, who was happy because we had a roll of paper towels and a Coke. That was a few weeks ago. Somebody donated a 6-pack of Coke. The people who need the diapers, that's all they come in for, diapers and hiney wipes, that's it. Maybe a bottle. Others come in, clothing. 2 gentlemen came in. So thankful that we had men's clothes for them. The young girls, clothing, again, huge. Recently we did the coat drive, and I can tell you a lot of these people come in t-shirts, a thin sweater, the children as well as the adults, socks on their feet and flip-flops on their feet. They are freezing cold. And we offered and were able to give and help with coats and hats and scarves and gloves. You would think these women were in Nordstrom. They were so happy to see all the coats laid out on the pew at St. Michael's and All Saints. All Angels. I always say All Saints for some reason. And they are picking them up and trying them on and inspecting them. And this is brand new. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it has helped me heal because I'm helping them. I never thought this was possible, but it is. And I am living proof of that. Because if you think losing your husband after 33 years is easy, it's not. Going home to an empty house, dark out. I am now more fulfilled than I've been in years. And that's very selfish on one level, but hearing Father Christopher just say what he said about how you're representing Christ hit home to me, and it means something. And if you think you can't do it, you don't have time, I can tell you, even an hour a week helps. Meeting the people, saying hello, a kind word, some food, some clothes, things that we all take for granted. These people literally, many of them, do not have. And that is why I continue to do it, and why any of you who could donate any time to any ministry might want to consider it, even if it's not for a very long time. Because again, I don't live around here, I'm late all the time, I can't even get to church on time most of the time. But I volunteer, and I love every minute of it, and I go home feeling so happy and so good, and I guarantee you, you will feel the same. That's it.
Patty, you are now officially on our speakers bureau that is yet to be developed, but there's nothing more that I can say. Patty was a prime example of being willing to keep awake, be in order to be the hands and feet of Christ in the world. And this season of Advent, this season of anticipation and preparation, you can too. And yes, it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, although it does with some aspects. It doesn't matter what skills you think you might have or not. Not only at the Mission Center, but many ministries here at St. Jude. Couldn't do it without you. So my sisters and my brothers, keep awake.